Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to another pair of subscriber replays. And once again, these replays are going to be in light tanks. I mean, I don't know. People say light tanks are hard to play and the maps don't favour them anymore, but I swear to God, you guys just keep sending me light tank replays, so that's what you're gonna get, light tank replays. We are kicking off today with Gunner G100, and he is driving the not very well liked A20. So this is a tier 4 light tank for the Soviets. And really the reason this is not very well liked, it kind of has quite a lot to do with the tank's history in the game, to be honest. It way back in the mists of time, this thing used to get full scout matchmaking. And so you could see tier 7, tier 8 machines with this little blighter, and worse actually at one point, if memory, I believe. And this machine was not really very well. I mean, none of the tier 4 light tanks are particularly well suited to getting scout matchmaking, if we're going to be honest, with the possible exception of the looks, and possibly the M5 Stuart when it still had the 75mm howitzer. But the A20 definitely wasn't one of those machines. However, since then, it has had its scout matchmaking completely removed, and so now it gets regular tier 4 to 6 matchmaking, and as a result, this thing is actually better than its reputation would have you believe, because its reputation was founded at a stage when, yeah, it was kinda dodgy. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. Patch 9.10 replays seem to be bugging out every once in a while, which is a bit odd and a bit annoying, but what are we going to do? Anyway, on to the game in hand. This is a tier 5 game, so this is middle of the road matchmaking for the A20. And we're here on, is it Tundra? Yes, Tundra, the map. And Gunner is basically just doing his job, flanking people and being a general nuisance. Can he pick up the kill on this Chinukai? Oh, puny damage roll. There we go. What is the average damage on this gun? 55, so it wasn't actually a puny damage roll. It was, broadly speaking, average. It's just the damage output from this gun is quite puny. I mean, it's, you know, it's sort of 45mm gun. 45mm gun, 75 pen, 55 alpha. Obviously, your pen goes up with your APCR rounds. So, Gunner has spotted out the Marder 38T, who seems to be rather distracted trying to shoot the friendly Churchill. But I'm sure as soon as Gunner pops his head up, the Marder would switch attention. You know, a light tank, just, I don't know, people seem to look at it and go, ooh, sweet, sweet candy, I must have some of that, and try and kill you, pretty much regardless of the situation. So, anyway, scoreline is 6-6. And Gunner's just going for this Panzer III. Having come down the hill, got a little bit lucky there not to get hit. He took one hit for his troubles. Oh, aim at the side. There we go. Took 2 hits for his troubles, but did eventually manage to nail that Panzer III. So, that's kill number 2 for Gunner, although the scoreline is still pretty even. He's got to be a bit careful now, though, because he doesn't have much health. 82 hit points. That makes him a one-shot for pretty much anything apart from the Panzer 1C, and I can't remember the alpha damage on the Type T-34, or the DW2. Okay, so it makes him a one-shot for the artillery and tank destroyers. Fine. He might be able to take a hit from the other guys, I'm not sure. Depends what they roll for their damages. Speaking of artillery, there he is, hello Sexton, and he's just fired. Which means Gunner can just do that. And there's kill number 3. What's that? Artillery has fired and hence is entirely defenceless. Don't mind if I do. And for once, the friendly team have now finally got the advantage in kills. And Gunner, of course, has the most kills of anyone in the game, which is always nice. So he's going after this Marder. Now, as I said, has to be a little bit careful because this Marder can be rather painful, but if your gun don't do the job, you are still driving a 30-ton lump of steel. Ramming speed, Mr. Johnson. There's kill number 4. Hetzer is over here now with 31 health left. I wouldn't necessarily recommend ramming the Hetzer, but he can kill this guy in one shot, providing he can shove that one shot up this guy's wazoo, or into the side. So yeah, that should be good. There is a Matilda Black Prince here on 30 health who appears to be having a little bit of a Mexican standoff with the aforementioned Hetzer. Hopefully Gunnar can break this standoff. There's also that Type T-34, got to be a little bit careful of him. Gunnar is definitely now a one-shot for him, and oh my word, DW2, but Gunnar quite sensibly prioritises the low-health Hetzer first. Hetzer is way more dangerous than a DW2 at the best of times, and when a Hetzer's on such low health and a DW2 is on about half health, you're going to focus down the Hetzer. So, that's kill number 5. Type T-34 is down, that just leaves the DW and the Panzer. Can Gunnar pick up any of these kills? DW is down. And come on, little Panzer, one more shot. There we go, kill number 6. And that is the game. Let's go and have a look at those results. So here we go, Ace Tanker, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, and of course that Top Gun medal, which is rather a nice result for Gunnar there in his A20. 728 damage done, 6 kills, 807 base experience, which is actually quite low for an Ace Tanker, but then, this machine is only tier 4. So, fair enough. 19 shots fired, 18 hits, 14 pens for that damage count. A little bit of assistance damage into the bargain. Everything he damaged he also killed, travelled 2.4 kilometers, and made a bit of money into the bargain. If I were to offer Gunnar any advice, it would be to try and take a bit more care with where he aims his shots. It looked like sometimes, although the ping said it was fine, it looked like he was dealing with a bit of lag. I don't know if he was or not, but sometimes his aim just seemed to, well, lag a bit behind the target. And if that is down to him, then I think that's something he could improve upon. But all the same, a very nice result there in the A20. So let's go and have a look at that second game. So here is our second game. Again, this is sorry about that. This is some light tanking, and we are once again courtesy of Pansy, who you may well have seen in other videos. He's driving the Chinese Type 64. Now this is actually kind of an American tank, really. It's in the Chinese tech tree, but this is actually a Taiwanese tank. So this is where you can start getting into a bit of confusion about the Republic of China versus the People's Republic of China. Anyway, in terms of the game, this is a tier 6 Chinese light tank. And Pansy is on Malinovka, which is an excellent light tank map. He has come up to this little bush here, which is a nice little bush from the starting location in the south, where you can get some spots from. There is also a bush from the north that you can do a lot of good spotting work from. And he's just lighting up the enemy team. Now this is passive scouting 101 basically. You get yourself on a big wide open map, you find a bush, you sit in the bush, you spot all the bad guys. And this is also the reason why you, yes you, should not really be camping on this map. Because a competent light tank player will really ruin your day. Now I find it interesting the SU-100's whinging about our T-71, or Pansy's T-71, the T-71 on Pansy's team, not scouting. You have to bear in mind, of course, that this is a tier 8 game. The T-71 is effectively top tier, so he wants to be a little bit cautious with his health. And Pansy is in his Type 64 doing the scouting, and that SU-100 is just being a nuisance, frankly. Anyway. There we go, some more targets up again for Pansy to get assistance damage from. So this is what you can do with a light tank on a nice big wide open map like Malinovka. And there aren't that many maps on which you can effectively do this anymore. Every time there's a patch, Wargaming seem to remove concealment, remove foliage, flatten maps out. You know, add in a new map that's at least half city, and just generally make the game more awkward for light tank drivers, which is really sad. Now this is a bit of an odd, perhaps tense moment. The Jagdtiger is literally looking straight at Pansy. If he pulled the trigger now, Pansy would take damage, but Pansy's not spotted. The Jagdtiger does not pull the trigger, and the Jagdtiger starts looking over for other people to worry about, and then backs off. And that's occasionally where you need balls of steel when you're in your light tanks. If Pansy didn't have Sixth Sense, he would just be trusting to the fact that he hadn't been spotted. Thankfully, he did have Sixth Sense, so it wasn't as much of a problem. But even with Sixth Sense, there is a 3-second delay between you getting spotted and the perk activating. So you do have to be a little bit careful. The other thing, of course, you will notice with the passive scouting that Pansy's doing is that he is not firing the gun, however tempting it might occasionally be. If you fire the gun, of course, you massively increase your chances that you are yourself going to be spotted, and that is very bad. Now, looking at the friendly team, the T-71 has turned blue from team damage. Yay, fantastic. And, yeah, the friendly team is going to have a bit of a potato moment, let's put it that way. Couple of enemy heavy tanks, top tier heavy tanks, have gone down into H1. I have no idea why you would go there in a heavy tank, but they have. Well, it's a T-34 and a Lerva, so perhaps they're new players who have just put money into the game and decided to start playing in their tier 8 premium tanks, which is a terrible, terrible idea. And our T-71 and SU-100 are having a bit of a spat. Although so far no one on the friendly team has actually died. Type 58 poked out there and got absolutely wrecked for his trouble. Poor guy. Now some people may be looking at this gameplay and going, oh my word, that looks dull. There we go, the ally SU-100 killed our ally T-71. And in a way, yes, you might find that it's a bit dull, but given the right situation, passive scouting can, as Pansy is demonstrating, still be very effective, but the number of maps on which you can effectively passive scout really is dwindling. And the Hellcat, SU-100 and T-71 are all having a bit of an argument. Oh dear. What are you going to do, eh? What are you going to do? Anyway. Let's get back to the actual game in hand. I'm waffling here because with passive scouting there isn't often that much to say. Pansy is in bush. He spot all of the bad guys. Now he does actually judge that at this range he is safe firing off a shot or two. He fired one at the Lerva, didn't penetrate, but you know, there we go. He didn't get spotted for his troubles. It was a judgment call, and as it turned out it was a correct judgment call. The only thing you have to be a little bit careful of is if either the T-37 or the LTTB were in a position to spot him. That could have been a little bit awkward. We know where the LTTB was last spotted. We don't know where the T-37 is though. So yeah. Now Pansy does decide to make use of his gun here, puts a couple of shots into that T-44. And the T-71 and the SU-100 are still having a bickering match, despite the fact that they're all dead. What are you gonna do? Cromwell on the enemy team. Now this gun is not especially accurate and Pansy's not even bothering with the shot there. You have to be very careful with the ammunition count on the Type 64. It's very, very limited. You only get, what is it, a total of, I think it's 45 shots, which might sound alright, but when you consider this is a 76mm gun that reloads in something like 2.5 seconds. Jagdtiger 88 there is almost 400 meters away and he's spotted, and Pansy just put a couple of shots into him. It's an entirely reasonable thing to do. I'm sure the Jagdtiger wasn't happy about it, but there we go. Tries to pick up the kill on the enemy Jagdtiger. There's one shot, and someone else kills him, leaving the scoreline at 4-4. IS-6 there. Now the IS-6 is a very difficult penetration for this gun. You can see Pansy switching to his APCR ammo here, but the APCR still only has 177mm of penetration. And so to penetrate the IS-6, he really needs to get shots into the guy's flat side, like that. If the side of the tank is angled at all, he's going to really struggle. But he did manage to get a shot into the side of the IS-6 in the end. Switches back to armor piercing now. T-44. Pansy decides not to take a shot. T-44 is dead. Oh, he's typing. He's asking people if they can join up to help him complete a platoon mission for his light tanks, basically. There are now 5 of them left on the enemy team, and we know where they were all last spotted. So Pansy takes this opportunity to move forward up the map. See if he can get some more spotting, do some more damage, all of that jazz. And there's the enemy Cromwell. First shot Pansy puts in, tracks the guy. Second shot ends him. Unfortunately, Pansy does get spotted for his troubles there. Puts one shot into the T-37, which appears to blow the guy's tracks off. And then the T-37 gets wrecked. But Pansy does take a shot from the enemy LTTB. So, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's only one shot. The guy rolled bang on average. The average damage on the LTTB's gun is 180. And that's what he rolled for. How very sporting of him. There's only 4 of them left. We know roughly where they're all likely to be. I get the impression the LTTB probably hasn't moved far from the position in which he was last spotted. The AT-7 is rather slow and ponderous, so it will take him a while to move anywhere. The Tiger 1, if he's going to camp there in a Tiger, he's probably still camping there. The only guy we don't really know exactly where he is the artillery, but usually you find artillery over by that stretch of water at about A1 kind of region. So Pansy puts a shot into this Tiger, and now he's just going to work this guy over, while the Tiger gets shot to all hell by Pansy's friends. There we go. Can Pansy pick up the kill? Yes, he can. There's kill number 2. There's only 2 of them left now. Soviet light tank and the M12 artillery piece. AMX AC-48 is saying that he needs 1 kill for his mission. There's the light tank, but Pansy appears to be going for the artillery, or going for a likely position of the enemy artillery. And he's going to be at utter sport in a moment, which is really nice to see. Whee! So the AMX is asking if he can kill the artillery, as he needs that 1 kill for the for his mission. So Pansy pokes up here, finds the enemy artillery, and puts a shot in, and a second shot in, and then just backs off. He's left the guy 1 shot for the AMX, and he's just saying, yeah, go for it. Go and get the kill. Which is really sporting. The guy wanted it for a mission. Pansy's letting him have it. It's always nice when you see people do things like that. Pansy spots the guy again. AMX is just moving up. And Pansy brought him down to a guaranteed 1 shot for this AMX. We don't know what gun the AMX is using. But if he's using the 100mm gun, he has 300 average damage. So Pansy brought him down to a 1 shot. And, you know, he gets thanked by the AMX. LTTB is going for the friendly capture circle. Pansy can't be bothered to chase him down, so he just goes into the capture circle to cap this out. And oh no, I tell a lie, he is going for the LTTB. I don't know why I thought he was going into the capture circle. He was driving through it. What are you going to do? But the LTTB dies anyway to the Su-122-44. Now, Pansy, of course, had his own mission to complete there. The question is, did he complete it or not? So, that was enough for an Ace Tanker, Spotter, Fire for Effect, Bruiser, and Patrol Duty awards for Pansy there. Now, let's remember, I believe the mission he was trying to do required 1500 damage and 2k assistance. Did he get that? Well, the short answer... Well, there's your his damage count. He finished clearly at the top of his team. Type 64, 1,606 damage, 2 kills, and 1,624 base experience. That's a lot by anyone's standards. Clearly at the top of either team, but only 1,600 damage. I say only, that's still more than the 1,500 that I believe he needed. So where did all the rest come from? Well, clearly it came from assistance damage, of which Pansy got 6,225. Whoo, nice. And bearing in mind this is only a tier 6 machine, before resupply costs, Pansy made over 110,000 credits. Take off the resupply, bearing in mind Pansy fired a few rounds of APCR, he still made over 93,000 credits. That was an awful lot of money, and I believe should have completed the mission that Pansy was trying to complete at the time. So, Nice bit of light tanking there. I hope you guys enjoyed that pair of games in light tanks. If you did, by all means feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.